Part 1. Tomb Raider, marry Shirley young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 1. Sumu seemed to have had a dream and woke up in a daze when he heard someone calling his name. That voice was clear and gentle, like the sound of nature, descending from the nine heavens and pulling him back alive. It's just that, his nose was slightly bent, and he smelled something in a daze. He remembered that this should be the scent of a woman. It is a natural woman's body fragrance, faint, but it can evoke the most primitive impulses of human beings. In fact, he felt that this smell was very familiar, as if he had encountered it before. Sumu was slightly startled, thinking that she had been single for so many years. When had she ever been so close to a woman? Moreover, he even felt like there was a melting pot around him, making him feel hot all over. However, when he woke up, he saw a perfect face suddenly appeared next to him. The eyes are like deep pools of ink jade, and the skin is white and delicate, like a jade bracelet carved from teeth. The high bridge of the nose and a little red lips make it look like a character stepping out of a painting. The overall look actually has a strong exotic feel. Maybe this is the charm of mixed blood. That kind of smell is something I have rarely seen. There is also the emotion in Sumu's heart that can be stirred up every time with every gesture. At this time, this woman was staring at him closely with a pair of smart and charming eyes. There was fear, joy, excitement, and expectation in her eyes. Damn it! What's going on? Sumu was a little confused. Why was there a beautiful woman next to him when he woke up? Immortal dance? Could it be that someone wanted to design him? But he was an ordinary moonlight tribe in his life, so why did someone want to design him? Could it be a human organ trafficking organization? For a moment, Sumu thought about it, but he couldn't figure out what was going on for a long time. He looked around at everything, and then he realized that he was in a wedding room. A lot of bright red satin, symbolizing joy, can be seen everywhere, and there is a table with various foods. I can't see what is on it. In the middle of the wall of the room, there is a picture, which is a wedding picture. Above was a photo of him and this woman. Sumu's eyes widened, a little in disbelief. Could it be that the person next to him was his wife? What was going on? When did he get married? Why am I here? Sumu murmured. Suddenly, memories like a flood flooded into his mind, making him feel dazed and in a trance. He found that he had many, many memories. He thought about how he had stayed up all night reading novels about tomb robbers. He was so obsessed that he couldn't control it. After reading it for several days and nights, he lost consciousness when his vision went dark. According to his memory, he found himself in this world of tomb robbers, which was a mixed world of tomb robbers. And the beauty next to him turned out to be Shirley Yang, the granddaughter of Partridge Whistle, a descendant of the mountain relocation family. She is beautiful and kind-hearted, skilled in skills, and has an open personality, but she also has the calmness and solemnity of an oriental beauty. And he, whose name is Sumu, is Shirley Yang's childhood sweetheart. They have long been in love with each other and have always been in contact with each other. The two have been in love for many years. Today is their special day. However, because the original owner was too excited today, he drank too much and died. At this time, Sumu's soul traveled through time. Sumu was slightly startled. What kind of rhythm is this? A beautiful girl as a gift as soon as you arrive? How could he be so virtuous? Sumu's eyes became fiery, and he was extremely happy. Not only did he come to his favorite world of tomb robbing, but he also got a beautiful woman as a gift. Still a heroine. This is Shirley Yang, who combines beauty and intelligence. No matter the figure, face, or style, Sumu was very satisfied. And there is no need to cultivate her, she is a daughter-in-law as soon as she comes. Sumu suddenly looked at Shirley Yang. Brother Su, are you still a little dizzy? Do you want to go into the bridal chamber later? Shirley Yang said softly. Will you enter the bridal chamber later? A fool would wait a while. Looking at Shirley Yang's perfect body, Sumyu couldn't help but touched it first. You. Shirley Yang bit her red lips lightly, and a blush immediately appeared on her face. Sumyu immediately confirmed that this was not a dream, this was real, this was a real person. This temperature, this touch, this enemy, you, be gentle. Shirley Yang whispered. At this moment, Sumyu's heart was pounding. The heartbeat was like a drum, as if it was already in his throat and about to jump out. He was indeed very excited, so beautiful, how could he not be excited about this woman? Host mood swings detected. Tomb robbing system binding. Send newbie gift package. Trigger random task, knock down Shirley Yang. A series of prompts sounded in Sumyu's head. He had long since given up the idea of checking the system. After all, with a beautiful woman in front of him, shouldn't he want to do the most important thing? Sumyu smiled coldly. Why couldn't he throw herself at her? How could he give up such a beautiful woman? So Sumyu immediately kissed him. Tomb Raider, marry Shirley Yang at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 2. A few hours later. Sumyu exhaled slowly and got out of bed. Sumyu suddenly remembered the previous tomb robbing system, and then he felt a little dazed. Depend on. The main thing I forgot is that in this world, if you don't have a tomb robbing system, how can you go out and hang out? Later, Sumyu opened the tomb robbing system. When he saw those in the tomb robbing system, his eyes suddenly widened. Pick attribute system. Continuously become stronger by picking up attributes, treasures, privacy secrets, etc. dropped by others. Attributes are divided into character attributes, skill attributes, and special attributes. It seems that this system is very powerful. If you just pick up other people's attribute fragments, wouldn't you be able to stay strong? It's just that there are many dangers in the tomb. It's very dangerous for him, an ordinary person without any strength, to be around him. Sumyu suddenly remembered the novice gift package. System, open the novice gift package. Ding, the newbie gift package is open. Ding, congratulations to the host for gaining the skill of Blackback 6th. Is it integrated? Fuck. It's actually the skill of the Blackback 6th man. Sumyu was shocked. Who is Blackback Laolu? That is the most capable person among the old 9 sects. Others went to the grave to hide from the rice dumplings, but Mr. Lu went to the grave to chase the bloody corpses and hack them. With such skills, you don't have to worry about going to the grave. Sumyu's eyes lit up and without hesitation, he quickly ordered. System, fusion. Ding, the Blackback 6 is getting ready, start merging. The next second, Sumyu immediately felt as if some restriction in his body had been opened, and he felt relieved. Not only that, one after another of martial arts actions flashed in his mind. As if he had mastered it all, he actually remembered all these moves in his mind. Sumyu took a long breath, feeling the changes in his body, and immediately felt that he was much stronger. What this system brings is truly amazing. Then, the system prompt sounded again. Sumyu was slightly startled and said, "Isn't this over yet? I saw that the system once again issued rewards for random tasks." Ding, congratulations to the host for gaining the tomb robbing experience of Mi Na Yuping. Is it integrated? Depend on. It's actually a stuffy oil bottle. Everyone who has read tomb robbing novels knows that Mi Na Yuping. This guy has lived for countless years, going in and out of the tomb all year round, and even stayed at the bronze door. The tomb robbing experience of such an awesome person is naturally one of the best. This system is really considerate and the gifts are the best. Without hesitation, Sumyu immediately ordered. Fusion. Ding, Mi Na Yuping's tomb robbing experience is being prepared, Start merging. In an instant, some pictures suddenly appeared in Sumyu's mind, and those were brought by Menjibotl. He also clearly felt that he seemed to be surrounded by circles of light. These are Menyuping's lifelong experience of robbing tombs, and they became Sumyu's. And it is not simply absorbed, but has been completely integrated with him, Sumyu. At this time, Sumyu was like a battle-experienced fighter. Feeling these changes, Sumyu suddenly became happy. He looked at his attribute panel at this time and couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. System interface. Host, Sumyu. Power, 10 normal adult is 10. Speed, 10 normal adult is 10. Mental power, 10 normal adult is 10. Bloodline, Zalong to be opened. Ancestral dragon bloodline? To be opened? Sumyu couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. What follows is a racing heart. Damn it! This is the bloodline of the ancestral dragon. The ancestral dragon is one of the 3 holy beasts of the prehistoric times, with a respected status and strong bloodline. Although he has entered the world of tomb robbers, his remaining power cannot be underestimated. No matter how bad it is, it's still much better than Menyuping's Kirin bloodline. System, this is really interesting. Ding, do you want to activate the ancestral dragon bloodline? Why should you hesitate? Turn on. Immediately, Sumyu ordered without hesitation. Ding, ancestral dragon bloodline is being prepared, start merging. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Tomb Raider, Mary Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 3. Ding, ancestral dragon bloodline is being prepared, start merging. At the same time, Sumyu's body was also changing little by little. The chi and blood in the body are churning, and a sense of heat is spreading throughout the body. But it was also accompanied by a painful tearing sensation. Sure enough, everything in the novel is a lie. It is not easy at all to fuse the bloodline of high-level mythical beasts. There is no way. Sumyu is only a human physique at this time. Being able to fuse the bloodline of the ancestral dragon is already a huge surprise. After all, the gap between humans and mythical beasts cannot be ignored. Even the Zhang family, whose physiques are naturally superior to those of ordinary people, have received special training and secret medicine baths since childhood to possess the Kirin bloodline ability. And not all the Kirin blood of the Zhang family is effective. But simply because this is a tomb robbing world, the effect of bloodline is not that obvious. Otherwise, at the moment of Sumyu fusion, Sumyu will explode and die because he cannot bear the huge energy. At this moment, the system's beautiful prompt sounded again. Ding, congratulations to the host, the ancestral dragon bloodline has been successfully fused. At this moment, Sumyu felt that his whole body, every inch of skin, every muscle, and even every cell was full of powerful power. This feeling is so wonderful. I'm afraid he has surpassed ordinary people now, right? Thinking like this, Sumyu opened the system interface again. Host, Sumyu. Power, 100 normal adult is 10. Speed, 100 normal adult is 10. Mental power, 100 normal adult is 10. Bloodline, Zalong turn on. Bloodline accessory skill, Sumeru space, a large storage space exclusive to the host. When the host's spiritual attributes are 3 times that of the enemy, living creatures can be put in to achieve an instant kill effect. The skill attached to the bloodline, affinity with all things, the affinity with all things in nature is improved, and you can sense the surrounding environment to a certain extent in places with strong natural atmosphere. The higher the mental power, the more significant the effect will be. The bloodline accessory skill, Night Eyes, can ignore darkness and penetrate chaos. Bloodline affiliated skills. Is the ancestral dragon bloodline so awesome? Not only does his basic attributes increase 10 times that of normal humans, but it even comes with 3 exclusive skills. Sumeru space. All things are harmonious. And night eyes. This is so cool. Sumi space is equivalent to system space, but Sumu seems to be more awesome. It can even be used as a super killer. Although the limitation is that the mental power is more than 3 times the target, this amount of mental power is enough for Sumu now. As for the affinity with all things, it seems to be a skill equivalent to that of a druid, but it can also sense the surrounding conditions in the wild. This is also great for tomb robbing. As for night eyes, Sumu thought, and the next second, his eyes immediately turned as black as ink, deep and dark. He turned off the switch and the lights in the room instantly went out. Sumu was surprised to find that he could really see everything around him. Is this the effect of night eyes? Like daylight, everything can be seen clearly. Sumu looked at the attribute panel and suddenly took a breath of cold air. This is too perverted. Sumu was shocked and excited. He never expected that the system was so powerful. Now, it is estimated that no tomb can be difficult for him. Sumu. After a series of fusions, Sumu felt a little tired, so he went to bed to rest. Early the next morning, Sumu slowly opened his eyes, feeling calm and calm. The impact of yesterday had completely subsided. He felt a small head lying on his chest, bringing warmth. He raised his head slightly and saw that it was Shirley Yang. Sumu breathed a sigh of relief at this time. It seems that this is not fake, all of this is real. He's really enjoying everything now. Sumu raised the corners of his mouth slightly. This new life has just begun. Suddenly, Shirley Yang frowned slightly. What's wrong? Sumu said with concern. It's getting late, let's go see our father. Sumu nodded and responded. It was indeed time to get up, and it was a bit late at this time. Generally, the morning after the wedding is to say hello to the elders, serve tea, and so on. So the two of them quickly got up, got dressed, and prepared to leave. Went to her father's guest room. This was a large villa, magnificently decorated and majestic. This was the property left by Shirley's predecessors in the Yang family. There were many rooms in this villa. Fortunately, Sumu had some impressions, otherwise it would have been impossible. They were getting lost. They searched for a long time but couldn't find Shirley Yang's father. Strange, where are the people? Shirley Yang said doubtfully. I just got married yesterday, why is it missing now? Shirley Yang frowned, obviously angry with her father. How can a father disappear on the second day of his daughter's wedding? Sumu thought for a moment and said, what if he is in a hurry? Are you out? But Shirley Yang shook her head. He's always like this. We don't see him a few times throughout the year, and we can't say a few words to me every time. If I hadn't gotten married, I might never have seen him again. Facing Shirley Yang's complaints, Sumu was helpless. After all, he was his father-in-law. Sumu suddenly noticed a letter on the coffee table and picked it up. Dear father. Sumu handed the letter to Shirley Yang. Shirley Yang opened the letter and frowned slightly. This is Tomb Raider, marry Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 4. This is the secret of moving mountains. About Muchan Bead, about the ghost I curse. How come? Shirley Yang couldn't help but exclaimed. Seeing her surprised expression, Sumu moved closer. Obviously. This is a letter left by Shirley Yang's father. The content probably introduces some of the structure of the tomb robbing business. In the world of tomb robbing, there are 4 major sects. Touch gold, unload ridges, make hills, and move mountains. Among them, Mojin is the sect with the highest technical content and the most rules. Now with the delay of time and the improvement of national laws, many tombs cannot be actively excavated. Therefore, the numbers of these four gangs are gradually declining. Among them, the Banshan sect has few people, but everyone is very powerful and possesses powerful skills. And Shirley Yang is one of the descendants of moving mountains. The two people looked at each other at the same time, with shock in their eyes. It turns out that I am a big fan of moving mountains. I really didn't expect that our family still has such a history. Obviously, this kind of thing is like a fantasy to Shirley Yang. She has always been a materialist and believes in Christianity. In Christianity, these things are very sinful, and the dead should rest in peace. The most important thing. If she knew she was going to dig a grave, she might have to read the Bible several times. Sumu held her hand and said softly, "Don't worry, no matter what you look like, I still like you. What I like is you. Whether you are a Taoist who moves mountains or a captain who touches gold, I will always treat you the same." Sumu's affectionate words immediately moved Shirley Yang. At this moment, she felt that she was the happiest person in the world. "Thank you, husband." Shirley Yang hugged Sumu deeply. "Fool, you and I have been childhood sweethearts since childhood, and now you are my wife. Of course I should protect you, take care of you, and tolerate everything. It's you I love, so don't worry, I will never leave you." Sumu already knew Shirley Yang's identity in his heart, but he had to act. Sometimes, talking less and doing more can prevent him from receiving too much attention in the early stage. Of course he knew that the mountain moving school was very awesome. Thinking back to those days, Partridge Whistle is able to walk freely among so many tombs because of the inheritance of moving mountains. The art of moving mountains and filling seas is full of possibilities. He is good at ventriloquism, has extraordinary agility, and also has good marksmanship. And his courage is extraordinary, and no one in the circle respects him. However, Sumu suddenly thought of the ghost eye curse, and suddenly felt something bad in his heart. Because if what was said in the letter was true, the Taoist who moved the mountains must have done it for a goal to survive. He and Shirley Yang continued to look down, a trace of sadness flashed between their eyebrows. Sure enough, the lineage of the mountains I moved originated from the Zagrama Mountains. We, the Banshan people, have been cursed for thousands of years. As soon as we are born, our lives are fixed. As each clan member grows older, their blood will slowly turn golden and die. Therefore, most of the Banshan clan will not live past the age of 40, and they will pass it on to their descendants and pass it on from generation to generation. This curse legend can only be found if Muchan bead can be used to crack it. Your grandfather didn't want to be bound like this, so he kept looking for the Muchan bead. Although no one had seen the Muchan bead, and there were no clues to record the Muchan bead. Everything was just a legend, but what he received, the curse, is real. And after your wedding night, the curse will begin. I didn't want to tell you this, but I'm worried that if I don't tell you, I won't have the chance in the future. Some time ago, I got the whereabouts of the Muchan bead. It was rumored that Queen Jingja created this terrible curse in order to rule her people. Now I am taking some of my men to find the whereabouts of Muchan bead. If I succeed, you can live happily. If I fail, I hope you will join me in this never-ending mission, because your descendants will also be cursed. After reading this, the two of them couldn't calm down for a long time. Sumu looked at Shirley Yang and thought that her curse must have begun. Because last night was the wedding night. Maybe this is the birth of a woman's new life, and also the countdown to death. Sumu knew that the real location of Muchan bead was in the tomb of King Xian in Yunnan. His father-in-law's journey might have been in vain. Moreover, the process of searching for the tomb of Queen Jingju was very dangerous. Maybe she is dead. At this moment, Shirley Yang was also swaying, becoming more and more uncomfortable. Sumu quickly supported her and asked concernedly, "What's wrong?" Shirley Yang looked pale and shook her head, looking very weak. Sumu finally saw that it was not the reason why Shirley Yang had a romantic night with him yesterday. It turned out that Shirley Yang was suffering from the ghost eye curse. My back seems a little itchy. Shirley Yang frowned and said. When Sumu heard this, he quickly pulled away the clothes on Shirley Yang's shoulders. As the clothes faded, a mysterious flesh-red pattern suddenly appeared in Sumu's eyes. This was exactly the mysterious curse mentioned in the previous letter. The ghost eye curse. Tomb Raider, marry Shirley Yang at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 5. Sumu slowly opened the white belt around Shirley Yang's shoulders. As the clothes faded away, a mysterious red pattern suddenly appeared in Sumu's eyes. This is the mysterious curse mentioned in the previous letter. Ghost eye curse. Sumu still remembered that in the original book, this ghost eye curse was very scary. As time goes by, this red pattern becomes more and more like an eye, so it is called the ghost eye curse. And people who are cursed by this kind of curse will become miserable after reaching a certain age and a certain period of time. Because that ghost hole will continuously absorb the iron elements from the body of the cursed person. Gradually, this red blood will turn into golden blood. Back then, Partridge Xiao took his junior sister and junior brother to Pingshan and went to the tomb with Chen Yulu. As a result, not only Muchen Pearl was not found, but also the shadow was not found. In the end, Hualing and the old foreigner were folded inside. Only Partridge Whistle was left, and he ate the inner elixir of the 1,000-year centipede and managed to survive for a while longer. But he couldn't escape his fate and died anyway. Sumu sighed in his heart, slowly stretched out his hand and touched the ghost eye. A smooth and delicate touch came from the skin under her hands, and it seemed to be no different from Shirley Yang's skin. Moreover, Sumu could faintly feel. This ghost eye is slowly absorbing the iron element in Shirley Yang's body, and then transforming into another dimension. Sumu cannot travel freely through this kind of space for the time being. However, he can already feel this different space. Sumu sighed, and slowly helped Shirley Yang pull up the clothes, her face a little heavy. It seems that the pattern has appeared, that is to say, the curse has begun. Shirley Yang lowered her head slightly, and a layer of fine beads of sweat appeared on her forehead. Unexpectedly, this is all true. Husband. Shirley Yang suddenly raised her head and looked into Sumu's eyes. Do you think I will die? Sumu was slightly startled and said, don't worry, it's just a curse. You won't die. Shirley Yang had tears in her eyes and said, you didn't lie to me, did you? Sumu stared at Shirley. Yang's eyes did not escape. He knew that Shirley Yang had been very strong since she was a child and did not shed tears easily. If this happens now, you may be really scared. Shirley Yang is a very independent person, and now she has no idea. You can imagine how scared she is. Sumu's heart softened. Shirley Yang was now his wife. Naturally, he didn't want his wife to be so afraid. Don't worry, wife, I will definitely find the Muchen bead and help you lift the curse. Sumu said word by word. Even though he still felt a little uneasy in his heart at this time. After all, this is a world of tomb robbing, full of unknowns and supernatural beings, and this is Sumu's first time here. Faced with what may happen in the future, this kind of thing is full of unknowns and uncertainties. Even if he knows the plot of the original work, he can't guarantee it for the time being. For example, his father's incident. There is no such thing in the original work. If he hadn't gone to Kunlun Mountain, what would have happened? The person cursed by the ghost eye will definitely die. Now that Shirley Yang is his wife, Sumu does not want Shirley Yang to be harmed in any way, nor does he want her to die. Therefore, Sumu has now made a decision. He wants to protect Shirley Yang. Shirley Yang was staring at the letter in her hand, with a nervous expression on her face. The whole room was quiet and the atmosphere was a little depressed. She said with some worry. Husband, you think, will my father really find the Muchen bead? Sumu didn't say anything. Of course he knew that Queen Jingju didn't have the Muchen pearl there, and it was very dangerous. Just the journey to the ancient city of Jingju was extremely dangerous. It seems that many people died in the original work. This time his father-in-law may be in danger. At this time, Shirley Yang was very worried about his father and asked husband, "I have something to tell you." Sumyu looked at him and said, "I know what you mean. You want to find your father, right, Shirley?" Yang nodded heavily and said, "Yes, I am really worried about him, and there is always a bad feeling in my heart, as if there is always something in my heart that I can't let go of." She didn't know where the feeling came from. Maybe it was because the father and daughter were connected, which made her feel uneasy now, as if a disaster was coming. Although she hoped that her father would be well, there was a possibility of everything happening. Especially the tombs of this mysterious ancient country. No one has stolen them for so long. This place must be extremely dangerous. The first person to eat crabs will either become famous in one battle or become a victim in the long river of time. She stared at Sumyu, wanted to get his answer. Sumyu thought for a moment and said, "It's up to you. After all, we just got married, and I'm afraid it wouldn't be very good if we went to the grave without a honeymoon." Shirley Yang let out a long sigh, and she felt a little relieved. It turned out that she was worried about this. Then, Shirley Yang explained, "I understand, but I have read records in ancient books that the tomb of Queen Jingju is not as simple as imagined, and is full of dangers." Sumyu was about to say something when suddenly, a ball of light fell from Shirley Yang's body. "What is this?" The next second, the system's mechanical and cold voice sounded in Sumyu's mind. "Ding, the attribute light group is detected and the system automatically picks it up. Ding, congratulations to the host, this attribute is a special attribute task attribute. Mission, please go to Jingju Ancient City and save your father-in-law." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Tomb Raider, marry Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 6. Ding, the attribute light group is detected and the system automatically picks it up. Ding, congratulations to the host, this attribute is a special attribute task attribute. Mission, ask the host to go to Jingju Ancient City and save his father-in-law. Sumyu was slightly startled, thinking that there was a mission attribute. Without hesitation, he immediately accepted the task. He looked down at Shirley Yang. "Wife, I understand everything you said, and I also understand what you said, but I don't feel at ease if you go alone. So, I want to go with you." Shirley Yang's eyes widened. She never expected that Sumyu would be so kind to her. You know, she couldn't accept the matter of going to the grave, let alone Sumyu. "But, husband, can you do that?" Shirley Yang asked worriedly. Sumyu couldn't help but smile and said, "What's not allowed?" Shirley Yang explained, "I mean, going to the tomb is not a very easy thing, let alone a place like Jingju Ancient City." Sumyu waved his hands indifferently. "Don't worry, I feel that I am here to protect you, my wife, even if I dedicate my life to you, I won't hesitate." Facing Sumyu's affectionate words, Shirley Yang hugged him excitedly and nestled in Sumyu's arms. "Thank you, husband, for being so kind to me. This is what I should do because you are my wife." The two people hugged each other affectionately at this time, and when they were about to kiss, suddenly, a servant ran in a hurry. "Miss, Professor Chen is here to visit." This servant just came to the door. When he saw the scene inside, he immediately covered his eyes and turned around. "Damn it, you offended the young lady." "It's okay, are you talking about my father's good friend, Professor Chen?" Shirley Yang calmly separated from Sumyu. After living abroad for a long time, Shirley Yang was very open-minded. This kind of cuddling was seen by others. In her opinion, It was nothing. Yes, I have arranged Professor Chen in the guest room. Shirley. Yang nodded and said okay, now prepare to order some tea. I'll be there right away. Yes. The servant then left quickly. Shirley Yang turned to look at Sumu and said, let's go there. This Professor Chen is a good friend of my father, and he is also very proficient in Jingzhou culture. Sumu's eyes narrowed slightly. The Professor Chen in the original work is a person who is very good at many ancient characters. Shirley Yang continued, with the help of Professor Chen, I think we can get twice the result with half the effort. After all, for the sake of my father in terms of face, he should also go to the grave with me. Su Mu thought for a while and said, is this Professor Chen pedantic? It is impossible for a person like him to go to the grave in this person's name. However, we are not going to rob graves, we are going to find the truth and my father. Well, what do you think? We will find a way for Professor Chen to apply, so that even if he goes, there will be no need to worry about it. This is a good idea. Shirley Yang's eyes lit up and she couldn't help but said to Sumu, you are really smart. Sumu raised the corner of his mouth slightly, showed a smile, and said this is nothing, it is just a small matter. Suddenly, Shirley Yang's face turned serious. So do you often lie to me? The smile on Sumu's face instantly stiffened, and he said with a sneer. Of course I am not my wife. I have never lied to you. I love you so much, how could I be willing to lie to you? Shirley Yang looked at him suspiciously and said, okay, I believe you. Then, Sumu and Shirley Yang walked to the living room. Professor Chen. Shirley Yang ran to him very happily, and then hugged Professor Chen. This was a man in his 40s. He was bald just because he had been using his brain for a long time. He wore gold glasses and looked very wise. Full of knowledge. Oh, you are still as lively as before. Professor Chen smiled cheerfully and looked at her with relief. He even recalled what she looked like when she was a child. In a blink of an eye, you are now so big. I have even changed your diaper before. Professor Chen. Shirley Yang's face was slightly angry, showing a red halo. Okay, okay, I won't tease you anymore. You have become a big girl now, so I can't tease you anymore. Professor Chen said as he picked up a red box from the table next to him. This is my wedding gift to you. You know, I didn't come yesterday and I feel really bad about it. Don't blame Uncle Chen. Shirley. Yang pouted slightly and said. How could I not be surprised? I muttered to my father for a long time yesterday that I just wanted Uncle Chen to come to my wedding. Professor Chen looked a little embarrassed and said, I'm really sorry. I really can't come because I have something to do. Shirley Yang stopped chattering, and then said okay. Then Professor Chen looked at Sumu again. Hey, this is your husband. He is truly a talented man. I have often heard you mention him before. He is such a good man. Hearing Professor Chen's compliment, Sumu immediately lowered his head slightly and said, hello, Professor Chen. Hello, hello, you are such a formidable young man. Just from your words and deeds, I can see something different, as if there is some power hidden in your body. Sumu was slightly startled, wondering if he was talking about his ancestral dragon bloodline. Tomb Raider, Mary Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 7. Hello, hello, you are such a formidable young man. Just from your words and deeds, I can see something different, as if there is some power hidden in your body. Sumu was slightly startled, thinking, is he talking about his ancestral dragon bloodline? How could an ordinary person like Professor Chen see it? Is it because he saw some clues? The power of this bloodline merged with his own, it's only 10%, can you tell? Are you kidding me? At this time, Shirley Yang suddenly said, Uncle Chen, now that you have given me the gift and spoken my words, Can I ask you something? Professor Chen was slightly startled, thinking what did this mean? Why does it sound like he is a tool man? However, he also knew Shirley Yang's temperament and she was a good girl. If there is nothing special, she will not speak to herself. Soon, Shirley Yang continued without even waiting for him to recover. My father left me a message in a letter saying that he went to Jingju Ancient City, so I hope you can take me to Jingju Ancient City because I am very worried about his safety. Shirley Yang knows that time is money now. The sooner you go, the sooner you can save your father. When Professor Chen heard about Jingju Ancient City, he was already confused. Going to the legendary Goblin Ju Ancient City? For this matter he is very confused. Although it is a good thing to go to Jingju Ancient City, it is not a good thing to go without any reason. Jingju Ancient City, going to that place is a narrow escape. Professor Chen said if I go, I can think of a way, but, you said you were going to. Sumu took a step forward and said, I want to go too, I want to protect Shirley. After they finished speaking, both of them stared at Professor Chen, obviously very determined. Professor Chen was suddenly in trouble and said you guys. He hesitated to speak. Because these two young people just got married. If you go to the grave like this, don't say anything unpleasant, just saying something happened to them is something he can't afford. The most important thing is, if they never come back, how should I explain to the Yang family? Shirley Yang Bingxiu is smart, she has been staring at Professor Chen's face. Seeing Professor Chen's expression, I knew what Professor Chen must be worried about. And Shirley Yang said firmly, Uncle Chen, please believe us. Sumu and I have been together since childhood. My father has been looking for someone to train us since we were young, not to mention physical skills, but some skills that can be used on the spot. Everyone has always admired us very much. Apart from the fact that we have no experience in going to the grave, our skills and self-protection are still good. Shirley Yang said while observing Professor Chen's reaction. But Professor Chen thought she was teasing him. Although Professor Chen had seen these two people being trained before. But at that time, he always thought that these two people were just for exercise and strengthen their bodies, that's why Shirley Yang's father asked them to do this. But now I didn't expect that Shirley Yang wanted to use this as a source of support to go to the grave with him. Of course Professor Chen was hesitant. Shirley Yang sipped, he pursed his lips and said. Since you don't believe it, let me show you a more powerful skill. Shirley Yang said and started to warm up directly. Eldest niece, you don't need to fight like this. I trust you. Don't move. I'll go back and make an application first. Professor Chen couldn't laugh or cry. But Shirley Yang shook her head. She knew that Professor Chen still didn't believe her unless she really showed some ability. The next second, Shirley Yang's long legs shook slightly, and then she suddenly bent her knees. Jumped upward. Then quickly kicked forward. Bang! In the stunned eyes of everyone, a thick glass in front was shattered. Professor Chen couldn't contain his shock and asked this is not. Isn't this the legendary mountain moving stunt, Kuixing kick fighting? Professor Chen was dumbfounded. Kuixing's kicking and fighting skills are exactly the same as moving mountains. It's extremely powerful. Legend has it that if you practice it to the point of perfection, you can even kick away zombies that have become immortals. The partridge whistle used this skill to walk around the ancient tombs time. Professor Chen once had the honor to see Shirley Yang's father demonstrate the unique skill of Kuixing kick fighting. It was really amazing and shocking at that time, and it is still vivid in my mind. And Shirley Yang's Kuixing kick fighting technique, the kick was impressive. Such a stunning move eliminated Professor Chen's doubts. He looked at Shirley Yang in front of him, feeling surprised and happy. Xiao Yang, you have grown up. When did you learn it? Shirley Yang said, this is what my father taught me. It is very useful for the evil spirits in the tomb. After Shirley Yang said that, she withdrew her legs. I have to say, Shirley Yang's legs are so beautiful. They are straight, thin, long, and powerful. They are perfect. Sumu couldn't help but think of last night. The haunting scene made his heart beat a little. Suddenly, he saw a light spot next to Shirley Yang's legs. He concentrated slightly, trying to take a closer look. It seemed that, it is an attribute light group. Could it be the attribute fragments of Coaxing Kikto? Thinking of this, Sumu was immediately excited. This is a powerful skill. Shirley Yang also said just now that he learned this in order to be able to face the evil spirits in the tomb. And isn't this what he wants to learn? Tomb Raider, marry Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 8. Sumu waved his right hand to collect the attribute light group falling from Shirley Yang. The next second, the light group immediately integrated into Sumu's body. Sumu was shocked. The knowledge about this coaxing kicking fight immediately appeared in his mind, followed by related experience. Sumu was delighted. This was indeed coaxing's kicking fight. Rumor has it that this move can directly kick the keel of a rice dumpling into pieces, defeating the enemy with one move. But will this come too easily? Thinking like this, Sumu quickly looked at his attribute panel. Mountain moving stunt, coaxing kick fight, completeness, 1/3. Sumu thought to himself, it is indeed like this. He only showed one move, how could he drop all the moves? However, this trick in his mind is enough. If you really stand up, it may have some effect. At this time, the system also explained thoughtfully. Ding, return to the host, because Shirley Yang only mastered the first level of coaxing kicking skills, so the attributes dropped are less. Oh. Will the dropped attributes change depending on the target character? Sumu was stunned, and then the corners of his mouth raised slightly. Only then did I understand that coaxing kick fighting was very profound, and even Shirley Yang had only scratched the surface of it. You know, according to legend, this move of the mountain moving sect is extremely powerful. Even when dealing with immortal zombies, once used, it is impossible to escape. Sumu breathed a sigh of relief, thinking that it would be enough if he picked it up a few more times. Suddenly, he was expecting a lot. Uncle Chen, do you think I can do this? Shirley Yang said anxiously. Professor Chen thought for a moment and said, your coaxing kick fight looks okay, but it's still far from your father's. Oops, I know, but I can definitely protect myself, and I can also protect others. Now can we go to Jingzhou ancient city quickly? Professor Chen hesitated, but finally nodded in agreement. Okay, but we still have to make some preparations. Prepare? Shirley Yang was almost speechless and asked what else should we prepare? Professor Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. The few of us now are not enough. You have to know that Jingzhou ancient city is a very dangerous place. Otherwise, you should find some experts in your villa and find a few more, and we will hit the road together. Professor Chen has been dealing with Yang's father for so many years, so he naturally knows the origins of Shirley's Yang family. So he also knows that there are many talented people in this villa. If they can help, it will be twice the result with half the effort. Without saying a word said, Shirley Yang shouted directly, everyone, come up. Shirley Yang's words were very cold, with the aura of a superior. This made Sumu a little impressed. You know, just yesterday, she was very gentle, like a little woman, very clingy. Now his appearance suddenly changed. He had never seen it like this before. He seemed to have a kingly demeanor. He couldn't help but wonder if he was in bed. Sumu couldn't help but swallowed and quickly shook it off. My head, this is still a bit too much to think about. Soon, people came in from the hall one after another. These people have a very strong aura on their bodies, each of them is big and thick, and they have an explosive power. Uncle Chen, Do you think these people are okay? Professor Chen took a long breath after hearing this. These people, in terms of pace and breadth, are all top-notch masters. A smile appeared on Shirley Yang's face. It seemed that the matter was resolved as quickly as she expected. But the next second, Professor Chen suddenly changed the subject. But Sumu and Shirley Yang looked at Professor Chen with confusion in their eyes. These people. Professor Chen hesitated to speak, and finally asked, which of you has been to the ancient tomb? Come out and let me take a look. The 7 or 8 people looked at each other and looked at Shirley Yang. Shirley Yang Bingxiu is smart. Seeing these people reacting like this, she immediately realized that maybe there was nothing they could do. Because none of them have ever been to the grave. Professor Chen sighed and said, maybe, your father had already left with those elite troops when he left. Although the people who remain now are all masters, they are also here to protect you and protect this family business, and they are not masters of reverse fighting. Facing Professor Chen's words, Shirley Yang felt helpless. Maybe my father didn't want me to go at all. Professor Chen shook his head silently and said nothing. Sometimes, the expression of father's love is very heavy, so heavy that you can't find it. Although Shirley Yang was moved, she was more worried. Since her father has found so many masters, if she goes together, it means that he also knows that this time is very dangerous, even a narrow escape. Helpless, she wanted to lead someone to rescue, but now there is no one to choose from. Sumu slowly walked over and hugged her. She comforted. Don't worry, I believe you will find a way. He looked at Professor Chen and said, Professor Chen, I wonder what you can do now. Professor Chen thought for a moment and finally said, my students in China have recently met a few masters of reverse fighting, so I want to invite them to go and have a look. An expert in backfighting? Shirley Yang asked curiously. Who is it? It seems to be called Hu Bei. There is another one named Wan Kaichuan. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Tomb Raider, marry Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 9. Hu Bei. Wan Kaichuan. Upon hearing these two familiar names, Sumu raised his eyebrows, but couldn't help but raise the corners of his lips. The other 2 members of the tomb robbing trio. Are we going to meet so soon? I'm really looking forward to it. You know, these 2 people are standard gold-touching captains. Hu Bei, who has mastered half of the secrets of Feng Shui, can turn bad things into good fortune in major tombs. Fatty Wang's marksmanship is even more impressive. If there were help from the 2 of them, maybe it would be no problem to go to Jingzhou ancient city this time. Sumu can now also acquire more skills, laying the foundation for future visits to the tomb of King Xian in Yunnan. Although Shirley Yang doesn't know these 2 people now, it is great news to hear that she can go to Jingzhou ancient city. Now that Professor Chen has a candidate, let's go quickly. What's the rush? Professor Chen glared at his anxious niece. Now you have to prepare the tools you have for moving mountains, so that we can set out together another day. I also have to call my students and arrange everything. The most important thing is to get the public seal. Otherwise, even if we go, it will be illegal. This is wrong. Sumu said very seriously. Yes, what we found in the ancient tomb must be handed over to the country. This is what the modern young people should do. Sumu looked serious when he said this, but in his heart he was thinking about how to maximize the use of his Sumuru space. When the time comes, he will enter the ancient tomb and install a bright weapon whenever he sees it. Seeing that Sumu was so aware, Professor Yang believed it and said happily. That's right, Shirley, I've always looked upon you as a good husband since I was a child, and now he's even more pure-hearted and upright. Good, good. Professor Chen went back very quickly, and in the past few days, he started to deal with these things. He is a highly respected professor, and these things are very simple for him. Just make a phone call and his students will come. Processing. Soon, both sides were ready. So a few people packed up their things and headed for the train to Xinjiang. In a luxurious sleeper room, Professor Chen and others sat around. Sumu and Shirley Yang sat to the other side. There is also a table in the middle. These two are the experts I mentioned before, Hu Bei and Fatty Wang. Professor Chen introduced. Hu Bei and Fatty Wang smiled and nodded to Sumu and Shirley Yang. Shirley Yang also said very friendly hello, I am Shirley Yang, and this is my husband. Sumu. Sumu felt a little warm. After all, she could always talk about her husband and introduce it to others. It can be seen that either Sumu is very good, or Shirley Yang loves him very much. And Sumu thought that he had both. Professor Chen continued to introduce, this is my student, Ding Sishan. Sumu's eyes lit up. This Ding Sishan looked as beautiful as the original. She is so beautiful. She has a tall stature and a melon-shaped face with that kind of classic beauty. The long black hair and the watery eyes make people feel friendly. Especially when she smiles, her two dimples are revealed. Her peach-like mouth and fair skin are attractive. This is exactly like an elf. Sumu was shocked and suddenly had a question. Because in the original work, Ding Sishan is dead. When Hu Bei and Fatty Wang took people to the wilderness, they encountered an ancient tomb. There, Ding Sishan was not rescued and died. Sumu suddenly felt that maybe this change was due to him. It's like the butterfly effect. Once he appears in this world, there will definitely be some things that will be affected by him. So he is really looking forward to the next development of this tomb-robbing world. Shirley Yang opened a package at this time, which contained many documents. Take a look at these documents. These are documents left by my father. I hope they can be useful. Everyone looked at it. They were piles of confidential documents. They were all stored in Shirley Yang's father's secret room, but she took them all out. She used to play in that secret room very well, so she knew it very well. According to your father's plan, he should have planned to start from Bosson Lake, go south to find the ancient Conque River channel, enter the depths of the desert through the river channel, and go south along the Sichuan River, looking for the ruins of the ancient city along the way. As Professor Chen said, a trace of sadness flashed between his eyebrows. What's wrong, Professor Chen? Asked Shirley Yang. According to one of the key marks above, it seems that the ancient city can only be found during the windy season. By the way, this year's typhoon season has already arrived, so we can't delay it any longer, Hu Bei said. Everyone nodded. Time is urgent now. No wonder Shirley Yang's father has to leave so quickly. But Fatty Wang is very experienced and said. Then when we reach the destination, we will set off immediately. I quickly find a local tour guide. You may not know that if you enter the desert, you will get lost immediately. Shirley. Yang looked at Sumu and asked, what do you think? Sumu said bluntly, it's a bit strange. I'm actually very curious about where your father got this information. If anyone could get such a mysterious place as Jingzhou ancient city, it would probably have been stolen by tomb thieves over the past thousands of years. However, this is the only way we can do it right now. Otherwise, we won't be able to continue on. Let's just treat this as a tourism project for the time being. Everyone had some doubts after hearing this, but this was the only way. Hu Bei and Professor Chen looked at Sumu in surprise. Because he really thought very comprehensively, just like a rich tomb robber. An experienced person. He behaves very maturely and steadily. It is difficult for anyone to be as calm as him. Hu Bei looks at Sumu from time to time and feels that this person is a bit unusual. Tomb Raider, Mary Shirley Young at the beginning. Author, October is fierce and cute. Chapter 10. After everyone got off the train, they came to the desert. This place is full of desolation. At a glance, it is still sand except for the sand. It is hard to imagine that thousands of years ago, there was a very grand country here that was prosperous and prosperous. When the group arrived here, the local leading cotters came out one after another after hearing the news, and they all expressed their enthusiasm as if they had relatives at home. "Oh, you are finally here. I heard that foreign friends are coming. What an honor. We will entertain you well this time." These village cotters were very enthusiastic and shook hands with everyone. Hubei smiled and said, "Foreign friends." Fatty Wang gestured to Sumu and Shirley Yang with his eyes, and whispered, "Look at that woman, she looks a bit foreign. We are just an archaeological team, thankless, no one has the right to speak." Hubei felt sour when he heard the fat man's words. "Fatty, don't worry, identity doesn't mean anything. I'm proud to be Chinese." The leader was the village chief. He led everyone to a guest house. Sumu took 2 steps back and whispered, "We are also Chinese, don't worry, the nationality will not be confused." Hubei and Fatty were slightly startled. They didn't expect that this guy could actually hear them. With such powerful ears, not ordinary. After everyone arrived at the guest house, Professor Chen started chatting with the village chief. "By the way, village chief, have you seen my father coming?" Shirley Yang took out a photo of her father and handed it to the village chief to see. The village chief stared at the photo and said quickly, "Yes, I remember clearly that he was here." Hearing the village chief's confirmation, Shirley Yang seemed very excited. Now she finally has some clues about how to find her father. What happened next? Which direction did they go? Why? The village chief suddenly sighed and said helplessly, "This last archaeological team was disobedient. I asked them not to go during the windy season, but they went anyway. What can I do, and they haven't come out yet." "Everything you said is true." Shirley Yang's eyes widened, as if she didn't believe it. "Real? How can I lie to you?" the village chief confirmed again. Now Shirley Yang finally believed it. In the desert, if Fengji rushes in, he will definitely escape death. Thinking of this, Shirley Yang's expression suddenly became a little lost. Fortunately, Sumu held her hand and comforted her. Professor Chen and others didn't know what to say. In order to lighten the atmosphere, Hubei quickly said, "By the way, village chief, could you please help us find a more experienced guide? We need this guide to lead us in archaeological work." The village chief hesitated and said, "Okay, you are an archaeological team, and there are foreign friends in it, so I will find you a very good guide." Then, the village chief took people to a house. Sumu and Shirley Yang looked at this barren little village with some emotion. Shirley Yang was born in a noble family and had never seen such a poor place. The people here feel that life is so difficult. "What do they do on a daily basis?" asked Shirley. "Yang. When everything is fine, count the grains of sand," the fat man suddenly interrupted. Sumu and Shirley Yang couldn't help laughing. "The man I want to take you to is called Enliman, nicknamed the living map in the desert. This man is really amazing, he has raised a good camel. Even the children in our village know that when entering the desert, you need to bring 3 things, water, camels, and Enliman." The fat man asked Enliman, "So smart?" The village chief nodded and said with emotion. Enliman came to the border at that time, and later encountered a sandstorm in the desert. Fortunately, a camel in the desert saved him. From then on, Enliman regarded the camel as his life. No wonder, this is a tacit understanding, and a tacit understanding with the camel, Hubei joked. "Yes, but..." The village chief suddenly looked embarrassed, and his tone was even more hesitant. "Judging from your expression, it seems like this person is a bit difficult to hire, right?" Professor Chen is a man of many talents and immediately saw the expression on the village chief's face. "Yes. the village chief said with some embarrassment. The last time the scientific expedition team came, they also wanted to invite Lyman, but he was not around at that time, so there was nothing we could do. Even here, I think it's hard enough to move. This Lyman's character is very difficult to get along with, and it's really difficult for ordinary people to deal with him. When Shirley Yang heard about her father, she began to worry again. Soon, the village chief took people to a house and basically went in without knocking. And the family didn't lock the door. It seemed that in this small village it was the legendary place where the doors were open at night. At this time, Lyman was still a middle-aged bachelor. He was dressed in linen that people in the desert often wore, and he didn't wash it. It looked a little dirty. And he also looked a little mysterious. Secretly, he was holding some antiques and muttering something unknown. Everyone just looked at him, and they looked at each other for a while. This guy didn't look like the kind of person who controls the desert.